Welcome to this episode of Heal Your Past, Master Your Future. My name's Tracy Malone, and I'm so grateful that you've joined me today. In this episode, we're going to talk about outgrowing relationships when healing means letting go of people that you love. Healing really changes you, and it's meant to. And sometimes it changes the landscape of your relationships too. You may find yourself pulling away from people who once felt like home. You may notice conversations that once lit you up now leave you feeling drained or unseen or disconnected. If you're grieving the quiet heartbreak of outgrowing people you love, you're not wrong. You're not selfish. You're not abandoning anyone. In today's episode, we'll talk about why healing sometimes means letting go and how you can honor both your growth and your grief as you move forward, because grief is just as important as growth is. So, why does healing change in our relationships? Healing shifts your nervous systems, your boundaries, and your values. It reparents your inner child. So, the old stories and the old patterns and the old relationships that were there before, they're changing. Just as you learn something new, you change. So does this inner work. What you once tolerated, you now question. You're like, God, I put up with this for so long. Hold on, is this serving me? Is this working for me? That's really healthy, really healthy. And it's really healthy to do this at certain periods of your life. That's why there's things like calendar years. Instead of setting New Year's resolutions, you can just look back over your year. How am I feeling about my relationships? Are they actually serving me? Am I serving them? Is there growth here? Is there a beautiful connection here? Or is it time for me to, I don't know, change it up? Is it time for me to let go here a bit? What once felt familiar might feel really heavy, because familiar is not always healthy or safe. Sometimes familiar can be a trauma loop. So, trauma bonded relationships versus conscious relationships, they're like opposite sides of the spectrum. Some connections are built on shared wounds, not shared values. And shared wounds means we had similar parenting when we were growing up. So, we talk to each other the same way that our parents spoke to us and each other. And it's not very nice. Putting each other down is normal, having a go at each other is normal. Guilting each other is normal, shaming each other is normal, but it's normal until it's not. Until it's not. And they're not shared values. So you might hold deep values now around safety and respect, but your shared wounds don't have safety or respect. So that's a really natural shift out of that. Healing is going to disrupt unhealthy patterns. It absolutely is, and that is a good thing. Not everyone will walk that path with you. You will lose a ton of friends when you start healing, and it's okay. And you might find yourself being alone for a little while, and that's okay too, because alone is not lonely. And some signs. So, what are some signs that you might actually be outgrowing a relationship? Conversations feel really shallow or forced. You don't actually know what to talk about anymore, or you're replaying the same stories over and over and over again. I have been in rooms with people who I knew none of these stories and they just talked about the past the whole time. I was like, one, I'm not included in these conversations. Two, this is your shared experience. And this is all you've got. There is no foundation here for a great relationship, and I'm going to need to go find something else to do now. So I very gently and kindly removed myself from the room because I wanted to hold my own boundary, because my whole body just felt it didn't feel good. My body didn't feel good being a part of it. So I left. You leave interactions feeling drained, not nourished. I was feeling drained in that and I got out. So you might feel that as well in any other interaction. When is there a time where you leave feeling drained and not nourished? That is a red flag. Growth is met with resistance, dismissal, or guilt tripping. When you talk about something that you've learned or something that you're doing and somebody puts you down or resistance and, oh, hold on, you're changing. Gee, you've changed. Not, wow, you're changing and growing. And this is amazing. And I'd love to hear more about it. This sounds incredible. It's why would you want to do that? We usually go out and eat junk and get drunk, and that's our way. Let's just dance it out and not actually have a real conversation. Ooh, or guilt tripping. Oh, you're leaving me behind. I feel so, you're leaving me behind and I don't know how to do that. Not how do I do it, but I don't know. I don't do that. It's very different. You feel more like a caretaker or a peacekeeper than an equal. If you're spending your whole time trying to not trigger another person, that's not an equal relationship. Which leads us to the next step, which is grief, the grief of letting go. It's really important to honor this part of your healing journey. You can love someone deeply and still know that the relationship no longer serves your growth. And why does that hurt? You're grieving the relationship you hope it could be. So your expectations really weren't met. You're grieving the version of yourself that needed that connection. You're really connecting with that part of you that's finding it so incredibly hard to let go. This reminds me, I've got an online course, Thriving Through a Breakup. So if you're going through a breakup and you want step-by-step support, I love this course. It's on Insight Timer. It is the course with the highest amount of people that have gone through it. Thousands of people have been through this course. And it's because breakups are hard and we don't get guided through it. It doesn't teach us how to really grieve. It doesn't teach us how to take responsibility. It doesn't teach us how to really move through it. You can find that course on Insight Timer Plus or on my website. You can buy it individually. And it's a really great course and it will take you step by step if you are wanting some real support in how to grieve the end of a relationship and end up thriving. And it will change you and your relationships from that moment on. It's a great course. So if you feel guilt over ending a relationship, it's normal. Guilt is really normal, but it is not an indication that you should stay. If you feel guilty over doing it, it doesn't mean you should go back. It just means that fawning is probably a part of your life, dropping down into dorsal vagal, making everyone else feel better because it helps you to feel safe, is a normal part of your way of being. And that is an invitation to change. So let guilt be there and open the dialogue with yourself. So you can say things to yourself like, I can love them and still choose myself. Mourning the familiar, really grieving that familiar. It was familiar to me. Of course it was, because it's how your parents parented you when you're a child. It doesn't mean it's safe or good for you. Let yourself feel the sadness without making it mean you made the wrong choice. So the fact that you're grieving over it doesn't mean that you should go back into this relationship. Quite the opposite. Let yourself feel it. Any connection doesn't erase the good that was once there. Here's a healing sentence for you that comes from the course that I have on my website. The love I have for you remains with you. No one can take that away. And it's over now. We often feel like and we believe that when we end a relationship, all the love, all the joy, all the good times have now gone. And it's just not true. They exist. The love I have for you, the love I had, it remains. The part of me that loves you remains with me. There is a part of me that deeply loves every person. And I'm not going to invalidate that part of me, and I'm not going to tell that part of me that she's wrong and that she's not allowed to feel that, I'm going to let her feel it all. She remains with me and she is allowed to love, and I am allowed to grow and move on. All of that's allowed. It's not one or the other. So, how do you navigate this process? Through a podcast. Permission to change. Give yourself permission to change. It's safe. It's okay for me to change. Growth isn't betrayal. It's a natural part of healing, and it's what we're meant to do. We're meant to grow, people. We're meant to grow. We're not meant to come in, stay the same. Like, you look at the amount of growth that we have as children. We go from being unable to feed ourselves, talk, do anything other than cry and poo and feed. And then we learn a language and we learn how to walk, and we're continually changing and growing. And so it's normal to heal ourselves and grow. It's not betrayal. It's not betrayal. It's normal and natural when you choose to heal yourself. And so you might say to yourself, it's safe for me to change, even if others don't. It's okay. It's okay if they choose not to do this, and it's okay for me to choose this. Everything's allowed to exist. It doesn't say anything about them if they don't want to change or grow. They're not better. They're not worse. You're not better. You're not above them. You're not evolving past them. It's just ending now. The time that you've had together is done. It was beautiful. Thank you. And now you're moving on to something else. Don't demonize or glorify the other person. There is no need for any of it. They don't have to be bad for the relationship to be misaligned now. They don't need to be bad for the relationship to be over. They could be amazing and it just doesn't feel right for you. Honor the complexity without rewriting the story as all good or all bad or anything like that. Let it be there. And now it's time to set loving and clear boundaries. My last podcast was on boundaries, so go back and check that out. You don't owe a dramatic exit. Life is not how the movies portray it. Sometimes letting go is gradual, giving people less energy, being a little less available, and less enmeshed. Maybe you don't even say, I don't think we should be friends anymore. Maybe you just stop catching up and you stop connecting and you just go, sorry, I can't, I'm unavailable for that. And maybe it just naturally fizzles out. Once you honor yourself by ending relationships that are no longer serving you, you create space for new connections. And it's so important to understand this, is that you will meet people where you're at in your new healed space. Finding spaces and people who meet you in that healed space, not in your wounded space. Really allow yourself to receive relationships that feel easy, easeful, reciprocal, and nurturing. Relationships are meant to be nurturing. They really are. That's the whole point of connection. And trust the empty space. Trust the empty space and allow it to be there. The void that comes after letting go of a relationship is really uncomfortable. And it is also sacred. So let it be there. Let the discomfort be there, and then see what happens when you dialogue with yourself around feeling uncomfortable. What is there now? Empty space is not loneliness. Ending a relationship does not mean you will be lonely or alone. It's preparation for partnering with yourself and friending yourself, putting yourself first, and then it's preparation for what's next. It's preparation for people that match your level of connection with yourself. You'll find those people to connect with externally as well. And that might take time. When I really started healing my trauma, there was a time where I really didn't have barely a friend at all. And that's really changing. It's really changing. And sometimes the time's just not right. Those people aren't anywhere. And then all of a sudden you start meeting people and you're like, oh, it feels like there's forward movement here now. So just let it be what it needs to be. And remember that outgrowing relationships doesn't mean you failed them. The relationship did not fail. They didn't fail you. You didn't fail them. It means you chose to grow when staying small felt easier. You chose to honor the truth of who you're becoming, even when it cost you comfort. Remember that healing asks us to walk with grief and gratitude side by side. You can grieve who they were to you and still celebrate who you are becoming, who you are now and who you are becoming. And you are absolutely allowed to move forward even when it hurts. You can move forward. Grief will take you forward. Grief will ask you to stop and rest and feel. And grieving creates such an extraordinary amount of space in our nervous system. It creates space in our field for new to come in. And there are people ahead, people you haven't met yet. There are friends in this world waiting for you to engage, and they will love the version of you that you have worked so hard to become. So thank you for trusting yourself, and thank you for trusting this path.